Thank you for joining us. I'm Brad Clonch, along with Quin Tran.
We're so glad to be back together to bring you this episode of CNTV.
As we welcome springtime and the Easter season, we want to share with you a story of inspiration.
Nikki Willis recovered from COVID-19. That experience changed the Chickasaw citizen's life.
Back in 2020, my husband and I and both of our children, we got COVID. I was really the only one that had any issues with it at all. My husband didn't really have any issues. Both of my kids didn't have any issues. And for some reason, it just took me a lot longer to recover. And it felt like a really bad combination of like a sinus infection and the flu, but it just continued to get worse. And I developed COVID pneumonia, which I'm very fortunate. I never was put in the hospital or anything like that. It just seemed like it really, it felt like it just attacked my body all over. And I found that my hands and my feet and my legs were really hurting really bad. And so it just took a little while to recover from that. And it was a good 6 months before I even got my smell and my taste back really well. Even after I got them back, my smell is still altered. There's just certain things that smell really metallic, have a metallic smell to them. They didn't come back normal the way that I remembered them before COVID. So it's been a journey for sure.
During the course of the 6 months of recovering, doctors were able to discover that you have another illness that you may have been battling for some time now. Tell us about that.
So for many years, I've had a lot of pain in my hands and in my feet. They never could really figure out what it was. And I just thought that it was because I worked in a clerical setting where I typed a lot and things like that. And I was very sedentary. I stayed at a desk all day. And so whenever I got COVID, my inflammation levels were really high. Even after I was recovering, they continued to stay high. And so that helped the doctors really start checking into what was causing my inflammation. And I found out that I have RA. And so it's like COVID almost really ramped that up, and it progressed a little bit faster there, which I'm thankful, because then it led to that diagnosis. And now we've figured out a treatment plan that has really helped with that. And it's really helped me manage my pain with RA. And I really feel the best that I've felt in a really long time.
And when you say RA, that's rheumatoid arthritis?
Yes. From my understanding, what it is it's an arthritis that will end up, when it affects your body, it starts to almost like cripple it starts to physically turn your hands and your feet and things like that. Right out of COVID, I was still having a lot of pain in my hands and in my feet, to the point where when I would get up in the mornings, I could barely walk, and it would take a good 15, 20 minutes for me to really feel like I could get control of my body to where I was comfortable. And my feet were just at the point where I could hardly put pressure on them in the mornings. And I was so confused by that, because, in my mind, I had rested all night. Why would my body feel so bad first thing in the morning? And so that led to me talking to my doctor about that. And I'm like, there are some days that I can't hardly even use my hands. And as an artist, that was so hard for me, because I couldn't hardly grip a pencil really well. And I do digital art. And so when I would hold my Apple Pencil, my hands would just hurt. And sometimes I couldn't even grip my pencil the way that I needed to be able to draw. And I was just devastated by it, because I didn't, prior to COVID, all of the testing, nothing's wrong with you, and I had that pain, but it was just so much worse. And so at one of my follow-ups from COVID, I was telling my primary doctor, I said, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why in my 30s I feel so bad first thing in the mornings. And I said, it was starting to affect my mental health, because I just had no clue why I was not feeling good. Whenever I had COVID, it really attacked the inflammation in my body, which caused that inflammation to increase to the point where it made it really, the pain in my hands and my feet really severe. They did do some scans and x-rays and things, and my hands and feet have started to turn. So that's why they came to the conclusion that it was RA.
What did the doctors share with you in terms of the outlook of having RA, which is an autoimmune illness?
I just asked him, I said, as an artist, I can't hardly hold a pencil sometimes. And I said, what type of outlook do I have on the longevity of my hands being able to do that? And he said, well, the medication that you're on will slow things down. And he said, I can't give you a definite time, but at this rate, you may not be able to use your hands that way in 10 years. And that was really almost devastating as an artist. And, it just made me really sit back and think about, well, what am I doing, and what, I am a Christian, and I believe that God gave me artistic abilities for a purpose. And so, by no means do I think, oh my gosh, in 10 years, I'm not going to be able to use my hands. That wasn't the mindset that I had coming from that. I had the mindset that if that is what happens, I want to make the best use of my abilities in 10, 15, even if it's 20 years. I really sat down and I just realized how important it was for me to teach. I wanted to share my abilities with other artists and students and children. And so it really helped set me on a track of, if this is what's going to happen, what do I want to do with the time that I still have use of my hands?
We'll continue Nikki's story next time on CNTV. Knowing the challenges ahead for her, she decides to make a dream come true.
Hear more of her inspiring story on the next edition of CNTV. The Emergency Operations Facility in Ada, Oklahoma remains open Monday through Friday. COVID testing is available from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and vaccinations from 9 in the morning to 4 p.m. Clinics have changed COVID-19 testing hours from 9 a.m. to noon, Monday through Friday. COVID vaccinations at those clinics for adults are offered Monday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoons. Pediatric COVID vaccinations are available Tuesday and Thursday afternoons at the clinics. Visit the web link on your screen to get the latest days and hours available and to schedule an appointment. This next story takes visitors on a journey through Chickasaw history with trappers, traders, and more. The 2022 Rendezvous at Fort Washita is underway through April 3rd. Families get to go back in time and learn about the 1820s way of living and working and fur trading.
And they'll have all types of period manufactured goods from the 1820s to 1830s. They'll be selling furs. They'll have a whole host of cast ironware, just items that a person would need in the 1820s to survive. When you see how people had to live and the struggles just to survive from day to day, it will keep you from, taking for granted the things we've got now. Just to build a fire, it's not just like turning a knob. They actually use flintlocks, and they start the fires that way with what's called with a substance called char cloth, and they'll explain how that works. The list goes on how to preserve food. There'll be pit folks doing that. It goes on and on of those types of things. So it just gives you an appreciation. It's hard to beat this event as a complete family event. I mean, because they're out there together, you're outside, the weather hopefully again will be nice. It's just a good family thing. There's music, there's food, and there's things to see, things to experience that you just won't see and experience anywhere else.
Fort Washita is located within the Chickasaw Nation, 13 miles east of Madill or 16 miles west of Durant on State Highway 199. Call to get more details on this unique event at Fort Washita.
The first week of April is designated as National Public Health Week. It's a time to look at how public health impacts the community and recognize the contributions of those who serve in public health. Here's more from Chickasaw citizen Miranda Willis, an epidemiologist.
Public health is a little bit of everything. It's everywhere you go. It's ingrained in every single part of the community. Our department itself started about 10 years ago, and we've grown so much since then. Now we focus on providing accurate public health data. We focus on integrating programs into our community to support healthy behaviors and addressing health disparities. We also focus on building strong connections with our communities and providing services like vaccinations, parent trainings, free 5Ks, just different community groups who really want to focus on building that community back together and getting everyone the opportunity to be as healthy as possible. Public health, it's literally everywhere. It's from walking down the street and walking on a sidewalk and having access to sidewalks. It's going to parks and having access to exercise opportunities. It's really learning about the health problems that are in your community and how you can address them through that education. And it's also as simple as garbage waste removal, right? That's public health. So public health is everywhere you look, and you don't have to think of it as just within that hospital. It's really outside of the hospital. So once you step outside those hospital doors, that's public health. That's where public health lives. We live in your communities where you learn, work, play, worship. We're everywhere. Besides being an epidemiologist, I've had the opportunity to kind of work my way through the department. Previously, I worked with our Define Your Direction program, which is a substance abuse prevention program. And I worked in that when I was very young in my career, and the impact of seeing small children kind of grow through your program and continue to come back and interact with you. And you see that positive impact that you're making. They're making good choices because you're helping them make those good choices, right? You're giving them the knowledge they need, the support, the skills that they need to make those good connections. And we did our vaccination events. So public health really led those outreaches in the community, made sure that people had access to what they needed, which at the time was the COVID-19 vaccination, so they could navigate this crazy world more safely. And we were able to do that. And to see the joy and appreciation on the people's faces that we serve is just, it's the most rewarding feeling. I really cannot say anything else. It's just so rewarding to see the impact that you make.
As the work in public health increases, there's also a growing need for more people to go into public health, to serve and be part of that workforce in public health.
Our department started 10 years ago with 4 people, and in the last 3 years, we've grown to 36. So the need for public health has definitely been identified and shown here in Chickasaw Nation, and it's been supported to grow. As we kind of get out of the COVID-19 pandemic, we're going to see other health issues start to pop back up. We really need to have a strong workforce in place so we can negate all of those negative issues. So it's really important, but I think the biggest thing was that there's no direct path to public health, which is so great. You know, you don't have to go in like I did and go get your master's of public health. We have people in our department that have education degrees that help, draft messaging, or they, promote public health activities in the community. We have health content people who also write health education and promote things. We have health science people, so like exercise science people, that do all sorts of different activities in our department. So you don't just have to be formally trained in public health to be a part of public health. You just have to have the passion.
Do you see how public health mirrors the mission of the Chickasaw Nation to enhance the overall quality of life of Chickasaw people, and in this case with public health, everyone in the community?
We are what the mission states. We really focus on enhancing all aspects of their quality of life. We focus on, making sure they have the best information possible to make educated healthcare decisions, from giving them different trainings to make sure they have healthy children and have the tools they need to raise healthy children, to providing free community resources in the community where people can engage and connect with one another while also doing something healthy and positive. So really, it's just at our core in public health. But what's really neat is that we get to expand the mission of the Chickasaw Nation and make that impact to everyone, which only strengthens the Chickasaw Nation in total. Because the more people you kind of have behind you, the stronger you're going to be and the more resilient you're going to be going forward, which is what the Chickasaw Nation has always been about.
Public health and research at the Chickasaw Nation encompasses a wide range of areas in health-related services. All efforts are to improve and strengthen the well-being of everyone in the community.
Here's another program that the Chickasaw Nation offers to Chickasaw citizens during the tax season. It's called VITA, the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, a free program that helps citizens file their taxes.
Before we started the VITA program, our citizens would have to go and have their tax return prepared and pay for it. It could be up to $300 to $500 just for a simple return. And, that's money that they get to put back in their pocket because it is free of charge. There is no cost. They know that they're getting a good return filed on their behalf. We are very prideful in our work, in the returns that we do submit to the IRS. And so it is a great, great program for our citizens.
Contact the VITA program to see if you're eligible to participate depending on your income. Learn also all of the documents needed. The process is done efficiently online. The deadline to file taxes this year is April 18th. That's all the time we have for this episode of CNTV.
We're so glad you spent time with us. See you back here soon.